Hi Scorpio, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly report for the month of November. It is your birthday season, so I want to wish you a really happy birthday. It's a very intense month because we are in eclipse season, which we started to feel the buildup of the middle end of October. And there will be two eclipses, as they always come in pairs. There will be a partial lunar eclipse on November 19th in Taurus, and there will be a solar eclipse, a total solar eclipse on December 4th in Sagittarius, and I will definitely be doing more in-depth videos about eclipses themselves and about those specific eclipses. But also in the month of October, 4 planets station direct, and that's a big deal in 1 month. That really helps you to move ahead. Pluto, which is the ruler of your sign, the planet of death and regeneration, as well as joint resources and other people's money. Let's see, Saturn, the planet of karma and responsibility. Jupiter, the planet of abundance and expansion and optimism, and Mercury, the planet of information and transportation, all stationed direct in 1 month, and that's a big deal. And the other thing I want you to bear in mind is that Venus is actually going to be retrograde as of December 19th. It's going to station retrograde at 26 degrees and 19 minutes of the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn. And it will be in the sign of Capricorn until March 6th of next year. It's going to station direct on January 29th at 11 degrees and 4 minutes of Capricorn. Therefore, it's going to trace where Pluto was at the beginning. Well, in April of this year, Pluto stationed retrograde at 26 degrees of Capricorn. Again, the ruler of your sign got as far as 26 degrees. And Saturn got to 26 degrees of Capricorn on March 4th of last year, and then cleared that degree on November 4th of 2020. And then this also defaults back to late December of 2018 and January of 19, when Saturn was at approximately 11 degrees of Capricorn. So this enables you to retrace a good portion of the Saturn in Capricorn story. And for you, Saturn was transiting in your house of learning and local community and networking and sales. And Venus is going to be in this house until March 6th for several months. So it's a good opportunity to reassess how you're networking with others, how you're learning. Are you teaching? Many of you might be teaching classes or taking classes, and it also helps you to readdress how you can find beauty in your thinking and love and creativity in a very painful time in the world, and reframing your thoughts. It's not Mercury retrograde, but Venus only retrogrades once every 18 months. I was going to say every 18 years, not quite, but 18 months. And so this is a good opportunity to find beauty in your thinking and to be creative and to try to maybe be more positive, because again, this is a tough time. So with that said, Mars entered your sign on October 30th, and it will be there until December 13th, bringing you a lot of action and activity. That's a new 2-year transit of new beginnings of what you want to launch. And Mars rules Scorpio in ancient astrology, so this is also really helpful for you to get your goals done and get things going. Maybe you're starting a new exercise program or getting things done with work. Maybe you're starting to date again and socialize. This brings a lot of courage and action. So on November 2nd at 5:39 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Mercury squares Pluto, and that may not be the day to socialize particularly. That could be combative energy and involve power struggles. Good for doing research and getting to the bottom of things. On November 4th, there is a new moon at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, at 12 degrees and 40 minutes of your sign, of the fixed water sign of Scorpio, in your house of new beginnings. So you really want to focus that day on setting intentions, doing the law of abundance. It's a very powerful new moon with a lot of fixed, committed energy. It's intense, but it's also really good for planting seeds. Definitely use that day to focus on what you want to manifest in the following year. Later that day, the sun opposes Uranus at 7:58 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And for you, that could bring surprises with relationships. Could be unexpected meetings, or maybe news about a friend, or relationships, or maybe unexpected breaks. But it'll be an eventful time. And again, it's a new moon. Definitely set intentions. On the following day, November 5th, Venus enters Capricorn at 6:44 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where again it's going to be until March 6th in your house of learning and teaching and getting involved locally. Maybe you're doing some work in your community to help rebuild with others, and it's going to be there for quite a while. And then at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Mercury enters your sign, where it will be until November 24th. And that provides a lot of opportunity for you to get focused on getting things done. Mercury, Mars, and the Sun are all transiting in your house of self. You're all over the place getting things done. And then on November 6th, Mercury forms a helpful sextile to Venus at 11:59 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that's really good for socializing. Maybe if you're looking for a job, or if you're promoting yourself, it's excellent energy for that. Very creative communication. And then on November 10th, Venus forms a helpful sextile to Mars at 7:57 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that is very creative and sexy energy, but there are going to be challenging influences. So at 12:04 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Mercury squares Saturn. And for you, that could be restrictions with home or family members, could bring delays. And then later at, at 6:14 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Mars squares Saturn. And that can be very frustrating. And again, could be restrictions at home or with family members, or maybe you're trying to get work done and just feeling very blocked. On November 13th, Mercury opposes Uranus at 10:57 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that could bring unexpected news, could bring unexpected meetings, could be very innovative and actually exciting energy. On November 15th, Venus squares Chiron, which is the wounded healer, at 3:07 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that gives you good opportunity to heal any issues you want to deal with that maybe you haven't addressed. And then later that day, the Sun squares Jupiter at 2:58 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that can just be a lot going on and excessive energy. I don't think that's necessarily negative. On the following day, on November 16th, the Sun forms a very helpful sextile to Pluto at 4:01 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that helps you to feel powerful and courageous, and is really good for you for marketing, and just good for, promoting yourself and empowering yourself. And then on November 18th, we're building up to this powerful eclipse energy, and a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse, they always come in pairs. They're within 2 weeks of one another, and it's like a full moon and a new moon on steroids, so it's very intense. And luckily there are very good aspects on the day prior. So on November 18th, Mercury forms a beautiful trine to Neptune at 10:38 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's really good for focusing on manifesting and meditating and working with your imagination. And then later that day, Venus forms a beautiful trine to Uranus at 10:08 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and on November 19th at 1:08 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Very creative, very romantic energy, very inventive energy. Then we have the partial lunar eclipse at 3:57 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 27 degrees and 14 minutes of the fixed earth sign of Taurus in your house of relationships. Now, if you've been dating or seeing somebody, maybe you're bringing it to another level. It could be breakups. Again, it's a full moon. That's very, very intense. But this full moon eclipse is within a degree of a fixed star known as Algol, and it's not the easiest of fixed stars, so you don't want to lose your head. It's a very emotional time. It's Scorpio season, but tap into Mercury trining Neptune, using your imagination. Tap into the innovation and inventiveness of Venus and Uranus in harmony. Use that energy. But realistically, it's going to be emotionally a lot going on. And again, eclipses bring unexpected news, and they're like wild cards. You know it's going to be a lot going on. You just don't know how exactly it's going to express itself. On November 20th, Venus squares Jupiter at 6:43 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Those are the two benefics of the zodiac. It's not negative usually, but just because it's right after a lunar eclipse, it's probably going to be a lot of heightened emotion. At least it's the lucky planets, but still realistically a lot of emotion. On November 21st, Venus forms a harmonious aspect to Pluto at 4:14 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's beautiful for up-leveling your relationships and feeling more creative and hopefully optimistic. And then on November 21st, the sun also enters the sign of Sagittarius at 9:34 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, where it will be until December 21st in your house of money and income and what you value. And this brings light to financial opportunities for you. And then on November 24th, Mercury enters the sign of Sagittarius at 10:36 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's helpful for more focus on getting your finances in order and finding ways to earn income. On November 25th, it is Thanksgiving in the United States, and the moon will be in Leo, which is normally a fun placement for the moon. But with that said, it's going to oppose Saturn, which can be restrictive and can be challenging. Saturn is transiting in your house of home and family, and it will be there until March 7th of 2023. So it could be issues with family. Again, we're in a very difficult time, and we're experiencing it on a collective level. The moon also squares Uranus in your house of relationships, and it squares Mars in your house of self. So that's a tricky moon on that day. So just knowing that people will be geared up, and it's right after a lunar eclipse. What would I say with that is that on the following day, on November 26th, Saturn, which is how we structure ourselves and seek stability, forms a helpful sextile to Chiron, the wounded healer. And hopefully that helps us all to heal together and recognize the fact that this is a very difficult time. On November 28th, Mercury meets up with the sun at 11:39 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. A lot of communication, good for planning ideas and projects you may have. On November 29th, let's see, Mars forms a beautiful trine to Neptune at 9:10 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That is very creative and romantic energy for you. Neptune is transiting in your house of romance and love affairs and creativity. And that's another part of the story, is that Neptune will station direct on December 1st at 8:22 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 20 degrees and 24 minutes of the mutable water sign of Pisces. So we feel that haze 5 days before and 5 days after. And also during that time period, we're going to have the second eclipse on December 4th in Sagittarius, in your house of income and money. That's a new moon eclipse, bringing in new opportunities to earn income. A lot of activity and a lot of energy, though, emotionally. Neptune is very, very sensitive energy, but it's also really good for working with the dream. Mars is trining Neptune. That's very positive. And on the 30th, Venus forms a beautiful sextile to Neptune at 3:46 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that's very loving and creative energy. Could be good for romantic opportunities for you and for creative endeavors. I wish you a lot of luck. Happy birthday. A lot happening in November, but remember, you've got Mars in your sign. It won't be there for another 2 years. Make the most of it. Get a lot accomplished. Venus will retrograde on December 19th. If there's a big purchase you need to make or something you may want to sell, Venus does enter its shadow in November, but it's still direct. I would do so before the middle of December if you're able. I definitely would. Or wait until after the end of January. So good luck, Scorpio, and take care. Thank you.